Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, I'm John, this is Many a True Nerd, and welcome to Civilization 5, my new little kind of midweek mini-series. Like Stellaris, we're going to be doing this on Tuesday and Thursday as a little extra series. So today, this is going to be your video, but from now on, every Tuesday and Thursday, this will be just like a little extra video that comes out like a little bit earlier than the main video, at like 8 PM UK time, or thereabouts. Because you see, after playing Stellaris previously, I've had a little bit of an itch for some like big strategy games, and Civilization 5 I never played before. I just was never really into Civilization. As many of you know, like my big strategy game of choice back in the day was actually Total War. I was a big fan of the original Rome and then Medieval 2. That was like the period I was really big into Total War. So I just never really played Civilization 5. So ahead of this little playthrough, I have decided to, well, I've put like 4 or 5 hours into like the various tutorials and just messing around in like a duel on a really small map. So I understand like the basic controls, but I'm going to be needing you guys to help me out in the comments a little bit, because, like, you know, stuff like the advanced diplomacy and anything to do with religion and all that sort of stuff, I don't really know. I just know the basics. So hopefully this won't be too painful to watch, but I'm going to need your help. Don't worry about the DLC. I was advised that, like, this game basically needs some of the DLC to be good. I've installed, obviously, Gods and Kings, Brave New World. In fact, I think I actually bought, like, a bundle that had literally all of the DLC, so I think that might actually just be all of it. So that's good. Anyway, let's dive into this and I will discuss all of the kind of the setup options we're going for. So set up a game. Now, I want to go for like a huge map. I kind of want the biggest game possible. I kind of want it to be as big and epic as possible. Map type, I'll go for continents. I like the idea of, like, you know, some big land masses, but also there being separate land masses as well. That kind of suits me. I kind of like that as an idea. Difficulty level, I'm going to go for Prince. That was kind of the recommendation on a little poll I put up on my Twitter. In all fairness, like, I agree with that, just because Prince, when it says normal, it means literally normal. Like, the game, like, the AI doesn't get, like, smarter or anything on the high difficulties. All it really means is, basically, when you get above Prince, the AI kind of starts cheating, and they don't play by the same rules of the universe you do, so they can, like, build things for, like, cheaper maintenance or whatever, so it doesn't really strike me as fair. And given I've only put a few hours into this game and know basically nothing about it, normal difficulty strikes me as about right. Game pace, I'm going to go for standard. I know some people prefer like the really slow games, epic and marathon, but I don't plan on this being like a hugely long series, because of course Civilization 6 is coming out in what, 5 or 6 weeks at this point, so I kind of want to get myself acclimatized to Civilization 5 in time to play Civilization 6. So I kind of want the game pace to be about normal, and lots of people seem to think standard is just fine anyway. Now, as for my faction, however, that's going to be a bit interesting. I haven't really decided that yet, and there's quite a lot of them. Hang on, let me just kind of skim through and find some ones I like. Okay, Alexander in Greece. I quite like the idea of like a bit more of a diplomatic game with influence. So admittedly, Alexander in Greece, Alexander's, well, he's Hellenic, but like he's Macedonian, which by the modern parlance is separate from Greek. So I don't know, that really should be Macedonian. There should be a separate Greek person who's like, I don't know, like a famous Athenian statesman or something. That annoys me. I do quite like the idea of Augustus Caesar, and yeah, 25% production towards any building that already exists. That strikes me as useful for like stuff like little monuments where you're potentially going to be building them all over the shop. That could be very useful indeed. I quite like Dido of Carthage. All coastal cities for a free harbour. Units crossing mountains after the first turn. Well, that's not so important. But yeah, free harbour. That would get some trade and money going very, very fast. I quite like Elizabeth too, though admittedly, Navy units seem like, just from my very limited play, they seem really situational. Like, most of the time, you're potentially going to be in land and Navy units are completely useless. So maybe that's kind of throwing in a bit too much for a kind of a style of combat I don't even know the map is going to suit. Like, if I was going for, like, Archipelago, I feel like Elizabeth would be much better. But on continents, it's a bit of a big risk. Austria seems bloody good, spending money to annex city-states, but admittedly, I don't know how much money or whether I'll have enough to do it, so I'm not sure how good that actually is. And admittedly, America seems pretty darn good. Yeah, +1 side for all land, military, and 50% discount when purchasing tiles seems pretty darn good. But my pride as a British person means I can't really play as treacherous colonials. It is pretty much a choice between Greece and Rome, isn't it? And much like during my degree, I think I'm going to settle on Greece, in fact, and we're going to try and play a bit of a friendly influence game, because of course everyone knows when I play strategy games and I decide to be a bit of a pacifist, it always ends well, and if it doesn't, well, I've got some nice hoplites here, don't I? I'm not going to say who the other civilizations are. We'll just discover that as we go along. And 24 city-states seems just fine. And I will indeed allow... I know, like, I could set random personalities, but given, like, aside from a few people who historically I'll be able to figure it out, I don't know what their personalities are anyway. I'm happy with, like, the personalities that vaguely match the historical figures, because I don't know who half these historical figures are anyway. Okay, let's have a look around here. I think I'm actually broadly happy with where we happen to have started off here. We've got a good solid number of luxuries around us, which will be good for improving happiness and trading away later and making some early money. We've got ourselves a river, which is kind of nice to have your capital next to, and my settlers have actually spawned on top of a hill for a bit of bonus defense, so... this strikes me as good enough. Which way is that river flowing? The river is flowing this way. Rivers do work correctly in Civilization 5. I saw someone mention that online when I was kind of reading up around this game. So if you look at the river, you can figure out which way the sea's going to be in. So I would like a coastal city, like, sooner or later, but I don't feel like I need it, like, urgently. So this here, let me just quickly shove on the yield icons. We've got... Actually, you know what? We've got over here, this starting off with a natural 3 food means we should be able to grow at a pretty decent rate once we kind of expand over into that direction. So that's fine. Yeah, this will do. A 2 food there, a 3 food there, another 2 food there we can improve. That, I'd say, is actually good enough to start off with. Hang on, let's just do that. That's kind of the settings I like, by the way. I don't really like having yield icons on all the time. It makes the map a bit messy. But I quite like having the resource icons on so I can see, like, the special stuff as well. Yeah, this seems good enough to me, but there's no point kind of not having my guys explore a little bit. Let's get them up onto this hill to just get them to see what's going on nearby here. Ooh, hello, I've never even seen you before. Bison for trapping. Output food and a tiny bit of production, and presumably I can do something with you, or a bison just for eating. Bison are good eating, by the way. I've had bison burgers in the past. Those were delicious. Now, this raises an interesting question, which is if I move my settlers, because basically what I'm deciding is, like, these settlers can become a city anywhere I want. I just need to pick the right location. If I move my settlers down off the hill, then I'll be right next to this thing immediately, the cocoa, which will give me a luxury, some happiness, and some gold, and some food straight away. I'll still be very close by to the sugar. I'll have, presumably, I'm pretty sure cities can expand out to 3, ultimately, I think. Right? Is that true? I think that's true. I think, like, when you start a city, it's like 1 around and it expands to 2 fairly quickly and can ultimately expand to 3. I think that's true. Yeah, I'm going to do that, because then, ultimately, I'll be able to get these here bison as part of my city, which would be nice. So I'm going to move these guys down 1 right now, and then that actually brings me to... what's that over there, by the way? What even is that? That is forest, grassland, and river. That's quite nice grassland. It looks quite nice over there. Some nice little bits of forest. Yes, this here is going to be my new city. Alexander the Great is going to settle Athens. Honestly, would have thought he, you know, might found a Macedonian city first or something, but alright, never mind. Okay, so, the first thing we need to do is, now that we've got this nice little city here, and it's not on a hill, which is a shame, but never mind, is now I'm going to move this straight over into being manually managed, which is this city basically has 1 citizen. You can see up there, this city has 1 citizen. I get to choose where that citizen goes. The game will, like, you know, assign it where it wants based on if you tell it to, like, focus on various bits and pieces. But I've decided I want to manage this manually. So I basically get to decide where my person goes. And right now what I want to do is I want to focus my city on growing as far as possible. So I'm going to move my citizen over here into this little cocoa area, because that produces the largest amount of food and a tiny bit of extra money as well. So that means, as a result, I'm going to have a new citizen in 5 turns, which means basically I can just put, like, a person on one of these things and have, like, 2 simultaneously. Now, the downside is there's not a huge amount of production in my starting area right now, so actually kind of building anything is going to take quite a bit of time. But that's fine. In that case, like, I was thinking I was going to build, like, a worker first to start working the land, but in some ways that's not necessarily the most useful thing because that's so far away. I'm going to build a scout first instead, just to kind of start scouting out the landscape. And at this point, I could buy a tile immediately, except I have literally no money. But you can see that, like, you know, the city's going to naturally expand over time. Like, it's going to expand over to this spot over here. It's actually going to go and get the sugar nice and early on to make loads and loads of money, which is very, very nice. I'm not sure how you control this, by the way. I'm not sure if you even can control this. Yeah, the rate at which it's growing is defined by culture, which right now I'm making a very small amount of culture. I'm just making 1 culture because I have a city. I'll need to build some more stuff before we get too far into that. Return to the map for the moment. So my city's settled, so I can't do anything else today, and it's just kind of growing over time, but I'm pretty happy that, yeah, in just like 5 turns, I'll have a new citizen, which means I'll be able to like invest in the city. Like, generally the way I look at cities is I want to get them growing and get some new citizens going as fast as possible, and just focus entirely on the food. And once that's done, I then kind of switch them over entirely to production, and only then start really producing stuff a lot. So right now we're not going to have many workers or anything, but kind of scouting out the map strikes me as more useful. And I probably want to start scouting off in this direction to see just how far away the flipping ocean is. Because if the ocean is pretty close by, then a little ocean ocean city nearby is probably a good thing. Also, I need to choose some research. Research is a function of how much kind of science you're producing. Right now I'm only producing the bare minimum that a city produces, which is just +4. And indeed, you can see there, of course, that that will go up as I take over more cities, but really, you kind of get that up more by building stuff in your city as science goes along. Speaking of which, research. Let's actually do some research. So right now it is, what is it? It's like it's 4000 BC at the moment, so we haven't really discovered much yet. Apparently, we've built this city, we haven't quite got pottery yet, so I could go for mining or for some archery, animal husbandry, or some pottery. And obviously, like, this is all part of a really big, long, complex tree that ultimately leads into future tech and nuclear explosions and stealth bombers and whatnot. But we probably don't need to worry about stealth bombers right now, because we haven't yet actually sorted out pottery. Also, you're right, music track, I could go for some Hovis bread right now. So pottery kind of leads more towards, like, cultural things, food. Granary will probably be very, very useful, so I might want to think about that. Animal husbandry is kind of like about, you know, trade and whatever, and also using horses for stuff. Though admittedly, like, constructing a pasture is the most important thing. That'll be used for trapping those bison when we get to it, but it's going to be a while before those bison are in our area, so I don't think we need to worry about that. Archery, of course, if we want to build kind of more advanced warriors, or at least the very, very earliest of the long-range guys, but I think we need to worry about that just yet. Indeed, ooh, a Temple of Artemis, very appropriate for Alexander. Or mining if I want to have, constructing a mine. That will be very, very useful, but I'd probably rather get pottery going as soon as possible, because I kind of want this to be, yeah, a bit more of a cultural thing. So, with that done, everyone's moved, because right now we've literally only got 1 unit and 1 city that needs to do things, so that's all we've got to do. Like, for the first few turns, the turns are going to go by very, very quickly, because right now it's 4000 BC, click next turn, and now suddenly it's 3960 BC. We've skipped forward 40 years and we're still nowhere close to flipping having some bloody pottery. This is how far our warriors made it in 40 years. Apparently the same guys are still working and they only managed to walk from here to the flipping top of a hill. They could see it. That's how far they've made it in 40 years. They're still within sight of our bloody city. Now, just hover over here and see where do we want these guys to go. Let's kind of go in this direction, because we can see there's something good over here. That's clearly, yeah, marble, which is a good kind of thing for producing money. Let's head in this direction. It's kind of go in the same sort of direction, the same sort of direction that the river's going in, just to see what we've got over here. Nothing major, to be honest. In a couple of turns, we'll have a scout. Scouts are good because basically they're really weak in combat, but they can move like over anything for only kind of 1 movement point. So, like these guys, these warriors, if they want to kind of go over a hill, that requires 2 movement points rather than 1, because they've got kind of like 2 movement points. But like if they want to go for a forest, yeah, it's going to eat up their movement points pretty quickly. So scouts can kind of scout around the map a lot more easily. And now I'm just trying to figure out, like, as my first priority, I'm just getting the very basics sorted out here in Athens, and I also want to kind of scout around to try and find out where I want my second city to be. So let's just, again, move on. So yeah, so we're just going to be skipping forward through turns very quickly, because while Athens is, you know, while we're researching, growing citizens, and working on scouts, and working on pottery, there's not much to do aside from basically walk this guy around for the first few turns. So you can see there, like, if he wants to go in this direction, he can only go 1. I'm going to move him on to here, because I'm pretty sure you get, like, a bit of a kind of a vision range advantage when you're on top of a hill. So let's move him this one spot over here to this hill, and we've discovered a ruins. Perfect. Ruins, like, you go and you get, like, stuff. Also, we found a whole bunch of stuff here. Loads of sheep. Also, sheep in the wild. I'm not sure that's how sheep work, to be honest. Like, wait, where did sheep come from originally? Oh, I don't know. I mean, sheep seem pretty bloody stupid, but maybe we just domesticated them and bred the stupid into them. I don't know. But, like, I can see, like, wild goats, because goats can just stand on the side of a cliff and be like, whatever, much like a horse in Skyrim. But sheep in the wild? I feel like they wouldn't do very well. Anyway, those ruins can be very, very useful, because basically you go into ruins and you get something. And that something might be something incredibly valuable for the very, very early game. So finding ruins really early on is very, very good indeed. So that's definitely worth having indeed. How's Athens doing, by the way? How long is it going to be? It's only bloody ages till the city expands. Yeah, 13 turns until we grow and grab that sugar. But that's fine, because happiness is, like, no trouble whatsoever at the moment. Like, this is what the things at the top are, by the way. That's my science, which is for researching. That's my money, and obviously I have, well, right now I have 0 expenses. I know units do have upkeep, so I'm not sure why this guy doesn't have an upkeep. Maybe he's free because he's my starting unit or something. Or maybe it's rounding down to it's like 0.1 or something like that. Trade units and trade routes. No, I have none of that so far. That's my happiness, which is lovely. So obviously, like, basically happiness goes up for having buildings and social policy and stuff. It goes down. It goes down as you have more cities. I've never really understood that. Like, why would Athens get more sad just because there's a different city up the road? Maybe it's because, like, you know, my attention, Alexander the Great's attention is divided between multiple different cities or something, but, like, it doesn't intuitively make sense to me that one city is sad because there's another city up the road, when actually, you know, the fact that they can trade with each other makes them mutually more wealthy. But apparently it just sort of does. I don't know. I mean, population going up, as the city gets bigger, it gets more sad. That makes sense to me. Because, of course, overcrowding and squalor and stuff like that, that all makes sense. But, like, yeah, just the fact there is another city doesn't really work for me. Happiness feeds into Golden Age, so if I can keep basically my city in positive happiness for enough turns in a row and get it up to 500, then as a result that will go into a Golden Age where everyone gets plus food and gold and production and whatever. Basically, it's good. We want Golden Ages. And also, we are producing this culture thing. The culture thing, of course, is just that thing that's going up by 1 a turn just because I have a city. And when we get up to 25, we can do some cultural social policy stuff, which I've never done before, but I'm told it's good. And then we've got Great Works and Faith. I've never done either of those, because I'm pretty sure neither of them are included in the tutorials I played. So never mind, we'll get to those when we kind of come to it. Next turn. Now, move you straight over into, yeah, around the side of that hill there, and instead just move over the plain. Ruins explored, you find survivors lost in the ruins. In gratitude, aha, perfect. So, I've basically just got a free population out of that. Now, that's really good, because that just means now Athens has jumped up to having this extra population here. So, let's just take that population off this production tile. Though, admittedly, actually, hang on, what does that do? So, right now the population is on 2 production, which basically means you produce quicker. So as a result of that, I could have a scout in 3 turns. Go into here. Let's remove that and move this over to here. Now what happens? Now I get a new citizen in 5 turns to get it up to 3. And that now takes 4 turns for a scout. Am I willing to take that? Yeah, I will, you know. I'm willing to kind of take that. Because I'd rather see, like, Athens growing faster. I feel like just investing in getting, like, citizens who can be set to work around Athens is a good idea. So I'd say that's probably worthwhile for now. There's water. I've found the flipping sea. Accidentally, admittedly, but I have. Okay, what I should probably do in that case is... where should my scout go? Okay, I'm going to move this guy down to the south here and explore if we can find anything good over in this direction. This is a little bit... If I, like, kind of found a city over here, that's probably a little bit close to Athens, to be honest. They'll be, like, bordering on each other really, really quickly. But then that's not the worst thing in the world, because then they'll be really cheap to kind of link them together with roads. Yeah, I'm going to send this guy down to the south now. I know that's there. We'll just kind of move you over to... yeah, here. And that is... okay, so that's just nothing but sea over there. And there's not much here. Let me just turn yield off for the moment. Yeah, you can see, like, sea starts off pretty useless. So I don't really want that much sea, to be honest. I'm just mainly looking for valuable resources that I can kind of settle by. These things are called, like, luxuries. Because then that gets me advantage and happiness and so forth. Because, yeah, my city's going to be really happy right now. Admittedly, you need to actually kind of work on them first. So right now that cocoa, even though I'm working on it, it isn't actually getting me any happiness at all. You can see that I'm not getting anything from luxury resource. I'm getting 0 from luxury resources. Because, like, I need to actually build, like, a little plantation to be kind of, you know, harvesting the cocoa for it to be worth anything. But it is worth, like, some extra bonus food, which is quite good. This is where exploring slows down a bit. Like, right now I can literally only move 1 space with these guys just because it's so damn slow. And these guys are going to move south. And as soon as my scout's ready, I'm going to start moving north. Because it feels like there's a lot of... yeah, there's a lot of hills and forest in this direction. So this is a good area for my scout to go down. And again, literally nothing I can do as yet. Just keep on producing. Now, this guy can go... aha, by stepping out of the forest and back in. Like, you're allowed to kind of cheat a little bit. Like, you know, this guy has movement 2 out of 2. So he can, and if he wants to go into this forest, it'll take him 2 points to do that. But if I move him out of the forest and thus use 1, he's got 1 left, but he can still use his second to go into here, even though it requires 2. So, like, if you can start making a move, you're allowed to finish it, which I always found a little bit odd. But never mind. Okay, there's fish down there, so if I want kind of a coastal city, there's some good fish. But that's not enough for me to kind of found a city here. There would need to be something better in this region for me to want to bother with that. And we'll have our scout next turn. Perfect. Okay, scout is ready to go. And the scout, you can see here, if I kind of hover over that, that can just kind of go 2 in this direction. So let's just move that over towards here. The scout has found... The scout has found something I didn't know was going to be here. Bananas. How much is that actually worth? Ooh. That's not bad at all. Okay, so if I kind of expand in this direction, if I want some growth, then bananas are worth 3 by default. And if I put a plantation on there, then that'll be worth even more. Though I don't need to worry about that because, yeah, growth of Athens is really something I don't need to worry about. Athens is now surrounded by stuff that will grow really, really nicely. Like, I've got the cocoa plantation to start off with. Then I'll be able to grow into bananas and more cocoa over time, I think. So that will be absolutely lovely when that happens. Let's go back down over here. You go over in, yeah, this direction. And, something valuable. Silver. Okay, worth a good amount of money, obviously, and happiness. So, a city down in this area, assuming there's a little bit more than that. Though, looking at this, yeah. Actually, there's good production around here. This could be like a really good production city. If you look at this, you've got hill here for 2, then another 2 on this kind of grassland hill, more hills around here. This could be a really good production city. It's not that sexy. I'd like to find, like, a few more resources around this area. But if there's a few more resources, I don't know, fish for food, silver for luxury, loads of production. That might not be a bad place for a second city down there. We'll see. Athens also needs to now start producing something. I'm going to start work on a worker at this point. I know right now it probably doesn't look like the most sensible thing in the world, but, because it's going to take like 17 turns, but, like, as soon as I get the next citizen next turn, I'm going to kind of shift production of this city a little bit away from food and into production, so it'll speed up a lot. So right now that's going to take 17, that's fine, and then you are, we've already moved you, haven't you? Yes, we have, and then that's everyone's turn moved up, move straight on. Okay, got ourselves 1 new citizen there. So now we've got 3. Lovely. So straight away, actually, that guy is kind of automatically assigned himself to being on the hill over here. So straight away, that drops from, yeah, drops from 17 to 11. We can probably do better than that. Let's look at the tiles. Ooh, that hill is going to cost 100 to buy. That's more than I was thinking it was going to be, and even then it's going to take a while. Yeah, I was thinking if that hill was 50, I might buy that very soon and move someone over to it. What I can do is if I just kind of, yeah, return to the map, go back into here, I can move someone off this spot. I can move them over here for 1 additional production. So I've slightly slowed down. Ooh. If I do that, I'm literally at stagnation, meaning I'm not actually getting anyone new on board at all. So basically I need to choose, well, how much time has that bought me if I do that? That's 9. You know what? I'll accept that. That means my city isn't growing for, ooh, 9 turns. So I'm saving 2 turns in terms of the production, but if I move this over here, then that's, oh, 33 turns away. Okay, so, no, you know what? The best thing is to get the worker as soon as possible. No. There we go. No, stop it. There we go, better. The best thing I can do right now is to get the worker produced as soon as possible. Then the worker can, like, set up, like, farms and stuff, and then that will be better. That's probably the right thing to do right there. So I'm going to get a worker going. And then these guys can keep moving this direction. Now, this is where these guys start getting good, which is I can move them over a forest and on top of a mountain in a single turn, of course. And that means they get some really good visibility of what's going on over here. So, even more kind of resources over there. Yeah, we are in a really fertile area, though admittedly, a fertile area with forests on it, which is kind of not perfect, because a forest I don't think you can actually plant a farm on a forest, so if I want to increase the output, I'd need to actually clear the forest and then build a farm, which would take a load of time. So maybe it's like it's not perfect. Like, it's better to be able to build plantations on the ones that have luxuries on them for loads and loads of growth, to be honest. But I don't think growth, like, after the early game, I don't think that matters so much. Now you, where can I get you guys? That is, oh, yes, there we are. You're a hill. Perfect. So now we can see, stone. Stone when worked by a city plus 1 production. You see, this is interesting. If I was to settle in this area, I would have silver, stone, fish sort of nearby, and all the production in the world. This could be a really heavy production city. It's not perfect, but it could work, you know. That's not too bad at all. Worth thinking about. Anyway, let's move straight on to another turn here, because, yeah, at this point we're just basically producing that worker, and just exploring and trying to figure out where the logical place for our next settlement is. Just move over to here. Yeah, grassland and then hill, or grassland and hill. You move over here to get better view. Aha! Ruins. Perfect. Okay. So we've got ruins over there. Ah! Cattle over here. Okay, this area is looking more and more tempting. If we've got loads of production, yeah, if we were to settle about here, we would have cattle nearby, stone, silver, pretty much straight away. We'd have access to the sea in the medium term. We probably would miss out on those fish, but that's fine. I can do without those fish. Fish don't seem spectacular, to be honest. Like, there's better things you can get out of the sea. If you can find, like, pearls, that seems to be better. And we've got tons of, like, this is just production central. This could be a crazy good production area. Yeah, okay, this could be worth it, though. Next turn, we'll be going after those ruins to get what we can, because there's a chance ruins can spawn a settler, and that will basically just be a free second city down here, which I would take as basically a sign from the gods that that's what they wanted me to do. You, meanwhile, oh, you've already moved, fine. Wait, who needs orders then? You do? Oh, sorry, you hadn't already moved. My mistake. Let's move over here on top of this hill, and that gets us more flipping ruins. Nice. Though admittedly, wherever the sea is, it feels like it's a long way in this direction, so this is not necessarily the right sea to go down. But I do actually now have 2 ruins in a row to go and grab, so that is very, very good indeed. Move straight on. And we've discovered pottery. Lovely. So pottery gives us some immediate wonderful advantages there, which is we've now unlocked the granary and the shrine for our settlement. So next time I want to kind of actually produce something in my cities, I've got new buildings I can build. So the granary is, well, who the hell is recommending we build a granary? We do not need a bloody granary, alright? I feel like we've got enough food going on. Yeah, the granary kind of it requires some maintenance. Food +2. Each source of wheat, bananas, and deer worked by the city is +1 food. Well, we've got no wheat nearby, and we've got no deer nearby, and we're not going to have bananas for quite some time, so that's worthless. So basically, you're just saying we need +2 food, and we do not need +2 food. Or I could get a shrine going on for some additional, yeah, just for getting some faith in, so I can start down the religion path. As I say, I've no bloody clue what the religion path does, but I'm guessing it's good. Right, you two obviously go straight over to the ruins and explore those, and we'll see what we get out of the ruins, and it is, you find a treasure of an ancient empire, 80 gold. Okay, now, that opens up some interesting possibilities. We could basically just spend that straight a flipping way on, like, buying some good tiles around Athens if we wanted to, or you can use money to, like, if you'd rather than waiting for something to be produced, you can basically straight up purchase something. But yeah, quite expensive. Workers cost a lot of money, so I don't want to be doing that. You, meanwhile, can you actually make it over to your thing? You cannot make it over to your thing today. Instead, go over here to this hill and get better visibility of the surrounding area. Yeah, this is a not particularly exciting area up here. This is not the right way to go. I'd say if we want to expand, we want to be expanding down here. This is a pretty okay area to go for. And now that pottery's done, we need to choose the next thing. And obviously, now that we've chosen pottery, we actually access all of the... No, we probably, again, don't need to worry about stealth bombers just yet. Now that we've chosen pottery, of course, we can skip straight forward to the next thing. We can kind of specialise down a more sort of, you know, specialist, cultural type of thing. Or, of course, we need to go for a basic one. But as you kind of start producing more science, and you see my science is now up to 6, I'm pretty sure because science is a function of... I think it's like your cities... like, plus a bit more for every citizen or something. I don't know what the maths is, but it's definitely gone up 2, and I've gained 2 more citizens. That seems about right-ish. So the more advanced stuff I've unlocked is sailing, which obviously unlocks a whole bunch of boats we can build. Cargo ships for sea-based trade routes. Okay, that's kind of cool. Creating fishing boats, opening up additional trade routes, obviously. Or we can have a calendar. Strikes me as useful, so we all know what month it is. Though admittedly, 3600 BC, we are going to struggle a little bit with a calendar. We're going to be making all of that up from scratch, because most of the months we've got in our calendar right now are named after Roman stuff, so we're a little bit early. However, the calendar does open up the plantation, and the plantation, as soon as I can build that on the cocoa thing, is very, very useful. And yes, as the game is at pains to point out, by the way, a plantation is a fancy name for a farm. The term has acquired an unsavoury flavour because of its association with slavery in the United States and the Caribbean, but there's nothing inherently evil about a well-run plantation which employs free workers. Yes, indeed, we're not enslaving these people, it's fine. And having stoneworks, ooh, that's not bad, because we've actually potentially got stone down in that area I'm strongly considering for my next city. So I'm going to go for calendar next up on the research front. And you see, what I could do now is I could actually buy a very good tile indeed. I could actually spend all that money I just found buying this here area and kind of immediately expanding onto this hill. But the thing is, I know for a fact that if I have any less food than what I've already got, I go into starvation. And that's probably... I don't even know what it does, but it sounds bad, so I'm not going to do it. So there's no point me spending my money doing that. I'll spend my money when I've got some more citizens later. Okay, that's everyone for now. Continue on to the next turn. And again, we just keep waiting for these flipping guys here. Now, let's get these guys moving in this direction to see what else we've got over here. And we've got, well, very large amount of forest. Not so useful, because forest is, you can see that forest is kind of useless. Forest is just basically one food, one production facility. Let's just get rid of the yield icons for the moment. Let's instead, much more exciting and sexy. Ooh, hello. We've got ourselves some barbarians. Okay, we need to potentially kill those, but okay, my scouts might be about to be attacked, and they won't do well in the fight, but I really need to go over here and get this area. So, ooh, 20 culture points. Meaning I've just now basically just jumped high enough to do a social policy. Okay, that's... well, I don't know if that's good. I'm assuming that's good. Yeah, here we go. Your social policy. So I can actually afford some of these now if I wanted to. Never really looked at these before. They didn't come up in the tutorial very much. So we're into off the map. I've no idea what's happening. So my option is tradition, best for small empire. Greatly increases the rate of border expansion in cities and also grants 3 culture in the capital. Unlocks the building hanging gardens. Adopting all policies in the tradition tree will grant 15% growth and a free aqueduct in your first 4 cities. Okay, that sounds kind of tempting, but I'm guessing all the others kind of have a nice little sales pitch too. Liberty is best for civilizations which desire rapid expansion, so providing 1 culture in every city, presumably 1 additional culture beyond the one I already get, right? Presumably. Unlocks building the pyramids. Adopting all policies in Liberty will give you a free great person of your choice in the capital. Not so desperately tempting. Honour, effectiveness of one's armies. No, I'm not so in favour of that, to be honest. Or piety increases the faith of empires. Adopting piety allows you to build shrines and temples in half the usual time. Unlocks building the Great Mosque of Jen, however you pronounce that. Right, I'm feeling it's either tradition or liberty. Let's have a look see their specific policies here. Also, is it just me or is it a little bit odd that liberty unlocks the building the pyramids when the pyramids were built by huge armies of slave labour? That strikes me as very, very odd. You know what? I'm going to go for liberty. Tradition just seems a little bit not me with this whole oligarchy, landed elite monarchy thing. I like the sound of liberty, and I like the sound of this republic thing that seems to come very early on in it. So +1 production every city and +5% production in cities. I mean, I do plan to expand, so this seems like a useful sort of thing. Yeah, let's go for some liberty right flipping here. And the pyramids, that sounds good too. Yes. Are you sure you want to adopt this social policy? Absolutely not, but let's try and do it anyway. So I next get 30 culture going on. I can have Republic for additional production. Just any way to increase production in every city strikes me as very, very useful indeed. So we've got barbarians up there. If I can kill them, it's a good source of money and XP, but I'd need my warriors to do that, and my warriors are a very, very long way away. So I feel like that's not going to happen imminently, at least. Instead, I should probably just get my scouts basically out of there as soon as possible and just keep scouting out up here. Maybe, yeah, finish off... Actually, I probably should get my scouts moving back in this direction. Maybe I'll just move them over here and then loop them back over in this direction and figure out what's kind of nearby over here. 'Cause we've got a whole bunch of stuff we've no idea what it is yet. So if my scouts kind of start looping around this way and you guys start looping back this way, we'll have a pretty good idea what's going on near to me. Admitting I haven't found a single other city-state yet, though I did set the map as huge, so I can't really complain about that. Now the question is, are the barbarians going to attack me? It's entirely possible they will. No, they decided against it. Lucky me. Right, let's just quickly move you guys up. Oh. Hello, why are you... Oh, I've heard about this. Yeah, while you're in, like, the influence zone of an enemy, your kind of movement is slowed down a little bit, so I can't get up to that mountain. Well, that's fine. Instead, I'm just basically going to run away from these guys, and we'll just leave them be. Remember, there is an encampment up there later. We may go and take care of it in time. And we got a hill here. This will be useful. Ah, a third ruin. Oh, we have done well on the ruins. This is... What, is that the 4th ruin I found or something? There was... Yeah, there was one there. There was one there. There was... one up here. Yeah, I think this is the 4th ruin. We've done really well on the ruins here. Now, up to the ancient ruin, and conveniently it's on a hill as well. And that gets us A crudely drawn map outlines the surrounding area. Perfect. That's basically just a free little map telling us what's going on here, including we now know there's... there we are. Barbarians. Good. So we can start training these guys by kicking some barbarians and then going and kicking them out of this encampment over here. And I see some more ruins over there. We have just landed in Ruin Central. This is magnificent. Also, some more cotton. That's interesting. If I were to put a settlement... Hang on, go back to the yield. If I were to put a city about... Ooh. Where is the right place to put this here city? Hang on, put the hex grid on as well, please. So if I put a city about here, 1, 2, 3, that's not... About there? That gets me the cattle, that definitely gets me the silver, it gets me the stone, and it gets me over to the cotton. Assuming I'm correct that, yeah, you can get out to 3. I'm pretty sure you can get out to 3. In fact, I can verify that right now. Buy a tile. I can buy... Yes, look, I can buy this tile right here. I can definitely expand out in the right direction. You can kind of speed it up with gold anyway. So that's actually not such a bad thing at all. Yes, actually, I feel like down here, we found a really good little spot for a city. Now, as for my scouts up here, you guys just keep going in this direction on top of a hill. Finding a few more bits and pieces up there as well. Convenient hill, sheep and stone. We're going to have stone down there. We don't need that at all. Move straight on. The barbarians are on the move, but luckily there's kind of no, like, hiding if you're in a forest or anything, so I don't need to worry about that. Now, can I get over to... I can't get over to these guys right now. Actually, I think I can. I think I'm allowed to do that. So I get a very, very minor victory, unfortunately. Yeah, actually, I was expecting to do a bit better than that, but... Do I even want to start this fight if I'm not even sure I can bloody win it? Yeah, you know what? They're kind of floating around this area. We'll come back for them later. Let's just move over to here and kind of hope they move into a better situation for me to nail them later. Let's just move over here and just kind of be ready to move over towards that ruin and that bandit camp. Remember, I've only played the training mode, so I'm used to bandits being really soft and easy to take out. It turns out, unfortunately, they're about as tough as my warriors. Probably because they're warriors and I'm warrior. So I actually need to have more troops if I want to have any chance actually, you know, decisively beating these guys. Dear, oh dear. Right, wasn't expecting that. I thought these guys would be soft and squishy. Meanwhile, we can move you down to here. Is that a hill, by the way? That's just grassland. And is that's a hill? Good, that'll do. Good visibility down there. Just keep looping around. Nothing much, to be honest, yet. But if we get lucky and these bandits move on to, like, a plain or something... Yes, okay, now, minor victory in this case. Lovely. So now we just charge down and start whacking them with sticks. And because we came down from on top of the hill... minus 20, minus 38, and I got some XP for that. So those guys are now much weakened. And next time we fight them, we'll be much more decisive. Perfect. You guys move over to this hill just to kind of get visibility of, yet more bandit camps. Ooh, and Consul Elizabeth of England.
We are pleased to meet you.
Are you sure you don't mean Queen? Like, I don't mean to be presumptuous or anything, but as a general rule, I've always kind of assumed you'd be Queen, but I guess maybe you haven't researched monarchy yet. In which case, where did the throne come from? Also, your society's presumably started the same technological level as mine, because I'm pretty sure that's what happens on like, the normal difficulty. So, where the hell did bronze working, candles, thrones, drapery, carpets, this dress, pearls, this hairstyle, where did all of this come from, Elizabeth, if that is your real name? Where exactly is... okay, we've just basically come close to some English warriors, so presumably she's over here somewhere. Well, that's all we can do for now. Next turn, let's see if we can go and find England soon. Right, let's just move over in this direction, skirting around the edge of this camp here. Yeah, maybe Elizabeth is... Well, if her warriors have come from this direction, she might be way more over here yet. I really don't think we need to worry about her anytime soon. My warriors can go down here, and again, minor victory. So we can kind of just keep smacking those guys. Again, they've been stupid enough to stand on a plane when I'm on the mountain, so I feel like I've got the defensive advantage there. In fact, they took a little bit more damage than us. I think we should be able to... Oh, we won't quite be able to finish them off next turn. That's really annoying. Never mind. I think we need another army at some point. And when I say army, I mean like a group of guys on a hill. Still, that's all we can do for now, and our worker's almost done. Now that's exciting. As soon as we get a worker, we can actually start working, well, you know, understandably, on the actual city itself. And unit promotion. Perfect. So these guys just got themselves... Why did the camera just go over there? They're right there. Okay, so this unit just got promoted because it's had some combat and its XP's got to the right level. If I do that, I can give them a free instant full heal, but in all fairness, like, they'll heal up over time anyway, so I don't want to do that. Or I could make them have a drill or shock. I'm pretty sure, like, as they get higher level, they get kind of more and more stuff you can stack on top of them. So, like, pretty much always go for that unless you're in, like, a really dire situation. Like, never heal unless you really have to. So, when fighting in rough terrain, hills, forest, or jungle, or when fighting in open terrain. The thing is, I'm not sure when it says that, whether it means, like, the terrain I start on, or the terrain I'm going into. Ooh, though I can test that, because I know if I attack the... Wait, hang on. Oh, now I'm going to kill them whatever. Okay, now it doesn't matter. I'm guessing, like, you get a tiny, tiny bit of, like, strength increase for leveling up or whatever. I'm going to say... Probably the best thing to do right now is to go for drill, because there's a lot of jungle around here. It feels like we're in a really jungle-heavy area, so probably drill is a good idea. So, get these guys up to drill, move them down here, and now we'll be able to finish these guys off once and for all, I would imagine. And there we go. Beautiful. So another 5 XP there, and those guys are now out of moves, because it appears like, even though it would only take 1 to go down here, just attacking seems to automatically use up all their move points. Now, guys... Have you got, like, any hills you could move to? Yes, there's a hill right there. That is perfect. And that gives us basically nothing useful. Got it. We should probably start looping these guys back in, because now we've got a bit of a gap here. Though, admittedly, I'm pretty confident there's nothing there but bloody cocoa. Now, the worker. I'm allowed to build a farm here, right? I can't remember if you need to research farms. I don't think you do. So... let's move him out to here, and now get him working on a farm. Like, these things seem to take, like, a set amount of time. It doesn't seem to be anything to do with production. It's just, like, a hard-coded amount of time. So, a farm, 6 turns. Yeah, road always seems to be 3 turns. Even though this city's got, like, almost no production right now, I can still produce a road in 3 turns. But luckily, I've got nothing to road up to right now, so let's not worry about that. Instead, yes, let's construct a farm to increase the amount of food we can produce. And that's kind of perfect, because... farm's going to take 6 turns, the calendar's going to take another 5 turns, so the moment they're done with the farm, they can move straight on over to building the plantation right next door here. So that there is perfect. Athens, meanwhile, I should probably move now back over to, well, hang on. Let's have a look-see at what we could kind of bring up next. So... we've got a shrine for some faith if I kind of want to go down a bit more of a religious-y route, which I'm not desperately keen on. A monument for, ooh, culture +2. That monument's probably not a terrible idea, to be honest, as it only takes 6 to do. Or, you know what I need to do? I need to actually move this off here and over to here. So now it would take 7, or a settler would take 15 turns. But admittedly, even like that, it's going to take 33 turns for a new citizen. So I feel like we kind of probably shouldn't bother prioritising that just for now. Instead, we move this over to stagnation, and we get ourselves... yeah, let's get a settler in production. Let's just get the settler going. I probably should build a monument, to be honest, but the monument's not going to give me any production bonus whatsoever. So instead, what I need to do now is, yeah, get a settler in production. That strikes me as important. Now, while the settler's growing, by the way, actually, this has reminded me, actually. This is something I've been thinking about. I mean, I'm not sure if this is, like... this feels a bit buggy to me, but never mind. Which is, while a settler's in production, a city fundamentally stagnates, because all its food goes into the settlers. So if I basically... yeah, if I turn this off, then that basically means, like, the city doesn't go into starvation or anything. Like, even if I basically take away all the food, like, you can see, it's stagnating, it's not starving. Like, even if I stop all farming efforts, mysteriously the population just seems to be able to keep going anyway. Now, that means what I ought to do is buy this really productive land right here, which is now it's only 65. It was 110 a while ago. I don't know why that's changed, it just has. So, I'm going to buy that right now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start working that tile immediately. I'm going to move all my citizens to basically working on the most high production stuff they can, which is... well, there's not really one that's particularly good, so let's just move them over there in that case. So now, that's all the production I could find. Back to the map, and now the settler's only in 12 turns. The city kind of stagnates anyway, and mysteriously does... I don't know why it doesn't starve. Like, surely you should need to produce a certain base amount of food anyway, or the city starves, but it just seems to not happen that way. So, I don't know. It strikes me as a very odd little way of doing things. So, settler is now in production, and those guys are now working on a farm. Now, let's get these guys back on top of a hill, and in a moment, I'll put them, their next turn, I'll kind of put them into Healy mode, which is basically just a little thing you can do. You need to go over here. That's a hill, isn't it? Yes, another hill. That's good. Ooh, ruins? What ruins? Ah, ruins. Surely Elizabeth people got there first, though, right? I mean, there's no way we got to those ruins before Elizabeth did. I tell you what, we have got a lot of ruins going on. This all works for me. Move straight on, because now we're basically just producing stuff. Yeah, the early turns kind of, you know, they speed up very, very quickly once you've kind of got to grips with the basics. So, that is spices. Right, remember those there. Move you straight over to these here ruins. And the ruins are increasing its population. Perfect. So Athens is now up to 4 citizens, which is even flipping better. So now I can just... I think the game, the game auto-assigns one of them. No, don't put them there. Put them into production. Because if we put it into production, there's nothing else I can buy that would kind of give me, more production, unfortunately. So now that I've done that, that's now down to 9 away. That 1 extra production makes a lot of difference. So basically I've just saved myself 3 turns through going to those ruins, which is very, very good. And you can be put into fortify until healed mode, which I think means they heal quicker. It doesn't actually specifically say they heal any faster. I think they heal a little bit anyway. But they're on 37 right now. I'm pretty sure they heal faster if you do it this way. So now they've got a defensive bonus, and I think they heal over time, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's true. They can heal up over there for the moment, and then potentially we can get our scout and these healed up and now higher level guys to focus on taking out the encampment together after these guys swing down and collect the ruins as well. Move straight on. So, you move just 1 space over to here, and then is there anything else for you to do? Is there a hill that you can go on? No, there's no hill. That's a shame. In that case, you move over here. Don't get any new visibility of anything. Still producing all the stuff there. Again, in this early game, you move through steps very, very fast indeed. They're gaining 10 hit points a go, but they're now a higher level, which is nice. Okay, so we found the edge of the world over here. We found basically, well, not the edge of the world, but we have found a whole bunch of sea. So we now know there's a whole bunch of sea over here. And actually, I'll tell you what, well, actually, you know, it'll be too close to Athens. That's not a terrible place for a city. Over here, we could put a city, yeah, but that's not bad over there either. Okay, there's a couple of good places we could theoretically plonk a city down, but none of them have got particularly good sea access, so maybe not, I'm not sure. But let's just move you over to here. We can see there that you've got the raider encampment, but these guys are high level attacking out of the forest into... Oh, that's on the plains, so I'm pretty sure the fight actually occurs on the plains, so... How would you guys do, by the way? Right now, you would have a minor defeat, but... Once you're back up to full health, I think you should be alright. The two of them together should be able to handle this one encampment. And we have completed the calendar. Lovely. So the calendar is now done, and that means very, very soon these guys will be done with the farm, and we can move over here and improve the situation over in this direction too. Lovely. Now, new research. Presumably, the calendar has unlocked. Does the calendar lead to anything? I can't remember. The calendar leads to philosophy, but I don't think... Can I even have that yet? Because that's in the next era. Hang on. No, I'm not allowed to do that one yet. I'm not quite sure exactly how movement between one era and the next works, because I can see how it should lead into the next, but mysteriously it just kind of doesn't. Hang on, maybe the technology tree tells me. Hello, classical era, do you tell me what actually happens? No, it doesn't tell me. Maybe you need to do one of the ones that's stage 1 classical era first, because when I was doing my practice game, I went from sailing into optics, and that began the classical era, I'm pretty sure. So maybe you need to do either horseback riding or mathematics or construction or optics, and then once you're into the classical era, you can at that point use the calendar to go forward to philosophy, but you can't kind of skip there. I tell you what, as the bandits seem to be a lot more tough than I was expecting, I wouldn't mind going for some archery, in fact. Having some long-range ability to kind of pepper those guys to kind of, you know, soften them up a bit first probably isn't the worst thing in the world, though the game is prompting me, still advice, basically those symbols mean, you know, economics-wise you ought to go for animal husbandry, and in terms of, your science guys also saying animal husbandry. You know what, probably the guys I've got can handle things for now. Yeah, let's get animal husbandry, as the game seems pretty keen on it, in fact. And now, one final set of ruins. I'm probably going to expose myself massively here. This is probably going to end badly. But if it does, Scout, you have done your job well. Head over to these here ruins. And we have got ourselves... Ooh! We've just got ourselves a free technology out of the ruins. Nice, I've just discovered sailing. I guess maybe we found, ships and stuff. Actually, this is a really fun story. Admittedly, it's entirely kind of, not true. But it was said that during the First Punic War, the war between Rome and Carthage, which was obviously a sea war, because there's, a body of water between North Africa and Italy and Sicily as well, the Romans didn't have a fleet, and they didn't know how to build one, and they basically had to build their fleet by finding a shipwrecked Carthaginian ship on a beach in Italy, and they basically just kind of dragged it inland and basically had to look at it to figure out how it all worked. It's probably not true, but, it's kind of cool. And that technology was well worth having right flipping there. Right, If these guys can actually survive and just basically escape and not get attacked by these guys, we'll probably start sending them down to the south to figure out what's going on in the south of the map there. Or they could have over here to the north. But I tell you what, if I'm going to have a city down here, and I'm pretty sure this is where my city's going to be, I need to basically have an idea what's going on down here. Because, ooh, hang on. Hang on. That's a border. I don't know what with. I'm not sure you can't like hover to check. Like in Total War, you can just basically hold right mouse in there and it'll tell you what it is. But in this case, it doesn't. I just know there's something down here, and I'm pretty sure it's not England, because England were marked as like red, so I don't think that's them. But we'll see. Hopefully that's just a little city-state I can be friends with. Good. We've got our first neighbour. I just don't know who they are yet. Next turn. Don't attack me. Don't attack me. Oh, they've decided to attack me. Well, that's fine. I'll be able to, like... I won't die. Oh, they're going to attack me too, aren't they? Are they going to attack me? Oh, they didn't, but they've pinned me in. Right, my scouts now basically cannot move. And if they attack anyone, they're going to lose. I'm really worried about my scouts now. My scouts can't... Oh, wait, hang on. Can my scouts... I've just discovered sailing. Can my scouts flee into the... No, they can't. Sadly, I thought sailing meant... Oh, no, I think I need optics. I think I need optics first. Hang on, let me just go over to the tech tree here. So I've just skipped to getting... Yeah, I've just got sailing there, but I'm pretty sure that allows you to build a cargo ship. But until you've got optics, yeah, land units can't embark until you've got optics. So sadly, these scouts cannot escape that way. I'm hoping these guys might kind of... Because these guys just seem to move backwards and forwards, like the basic barbarians just move around. So if these guys move like over here or over here next turn, they just kind of go blubum, because they just do. Then these guys might attack me again. I'll survive, and then my scouts can basically flee. But do I need to... I'm going to move my guys one space here, and then put them back into heal mode. So again, that'll be yet more healing. But then I think they might be able to, like, if you can get to the space next to the group you're attacking, I think you're allowed to attack. So I think I might be able to, like, attack next turn. I think that's okay. Also, I've adopted enough culture for a new policy. Oh, that's good. That's right. I wanted Republic. I want to be the Republic of, not really Greece. It's kind of Hellenic states. Greece is a modern concept for a country. And even in Greece, they're not sure about it because Macedonia does... Never mind. I'm going to accept, well, I could have citizenship. So, improved construction rate increased by 20... Ooh. Tile improvement construction rate by 25%. And a worker appears near the... Ooh, a free worker. Free worker and 25% improvements. And that improvement basically means, like, building anything a worker can build. That's really good. Or, +1 production. Ooh, citizenship. Or... I'll tell you what, taking citizenship really early on strikes me as a very good sort of thing, because that's going to pay for itself so quickly. Yes, I'm going to take citizenship. Yep, everyone's now citizens. Liberty, citizenship, we are creating a bloody utopia over here. The farm's done as well, beautiful. So you guys over here now move over to here, and... Oh, you can't do anything else because, yeah, they moved up all their turns moving into this area, because this area is technically a jungle, so it does actually take some time to do that. Now, this is good. So, what I can do at this point, then, is I can build stuff really, really quickly, and I just got a free worker, didn't I? Yeah, so now I've got these extra free workers right here. Are they costing me money, by the way? 2 on unit maintenance. Possibly, I don't know. I'm not sure, like, which of these units cost what. I can't see where to check that. Recommended, says the game, construct a farm. No, that would be a terrible, terrible idea. Why would I do that right now? That'd be the worst thing I could do. What I ought to do is head over to the sugar and build myself a plantation over there, because I'm pretty sure I can build a plantation in that area as well. And right now, well, I need to actually get working on mining. Until I've got the ability to produce mines on these hilltops, that's going to be a problem, actually. Okay. Yeah, actually, hang on, research. Oh, actually, animal husbandry is not going to take that long, but equally, it's not actually... Okay, fine, I'm going to switch over to mining, because I kind of need those mines at some point sooner rather than later. I don't actually lose what I've already researched, by the way, I just pick it up later. Right, and a unit needs orders, obviously that's these guys, in which case, guys... Fortify until healed. So now these guys are just going to go into a defensive position. They get a defensive bonus, so they'll do a bit better. And they'll also start healing over time, which is the best I can do for them. Next turn, they're possibly going to come under attack again. They've gained 10 hit points back, which actually kind of works. Though admittedly, if they get attacked by both of these groups, they're going to be in trouble. Don't die, don't die, don't die, don't die. Resist, resist, hold off. Okay, good, excellent. They've gained a load of health. Now, this is actually one of the times I probably will actually do a heal, because I don't want to have to waste time training another scout right now. So we'll actually give these guys a full heal. So, heal them up instantly, which is fine. They get... When it says heal them up instantly, that was not a full heal. Well, it was most of a heal. It'll bloody do. Now, I can go over here and clear these guys out. The question is, can I do it this turn? I don't know if I can. Let's go for it, and... No. No, I can't. Fine, so we're ready to attack next turn, but sadly these guys now are a little bit vulnerable. But equally, we might be able to, like, sweep out the encampment very, very soon. These guys can hold off very, very nicely. You guys just go into fortify until healed again. That's okay. It's all going to go fine. 4 turns left until that's done. You guys can now start working on... Why can't you build a plantation? We need bronze working before we can clear the jungle. Right, okay, so I can't build the plantation until the jungle's clear. Well, hang on, what about you then? Why can't you build a plantation? So this is me not understanding the game at this point. Don't worry, I just don't know what I'm doing. Luckily, I'm already researching mining, and mining will lead me into masonry and bronze working. So I can just get on with building some, like, other stuff while this is... Okay, this is fine. Don't worry, don't panic, it's all okay. So there's my first blatant bit of utter incompetence. I didn't realise I'd need to actually clear the jungle and whatever. Now, let's see what happens with those damn barbarians again. And, ooh, hello. The world's most well-fed people. Unmet player, Elizabeth, you. Well, thank you for circulating this knowledge. I'm glad we're not last. Now, as it turns out, we should be able to basically storm in here and clear these guys out completely, which should, well, almost anyway. We'll be able to go in and do a lot of damage, at least. And then hopefully my scouts will actually be able to, yep, decisive victory. Which meaning scouts will actually clear out a barbarian encampment. And the reason you want to be doing that is, well, 1, it gives my scouts a bloody escape route. And 2, it gives me a bit of gold. Only 25 though. Was 50 when I was doing the tutorial. Damn easy mode. Right, now you are both out of moves and we can clear you out next turn as well. So my scout is free. Perfect. And you lot, I suppose, may as well get working on flipping farms. And is that going to use up your move? Yeah, I think crossing a river uses up a move as well. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think that's the case. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, as Athens starts to take shape, as the workers get working, the farms start to spring up, and our troops have engaged in their first combat, I think that is enough for now. This is the start, obviously, of a little series here. Next time we will start our first expansion. Obviously, things speed up. As you get more and more units on the field, of course, you do more each turn. So the first kind of few turns, you may have noticed we've kind of just burnt through... We just burnt through a millennium there. I can't remember what year we start on. If it was indeed 4000 BC, as I suspect, we've just burnt through a millennium there. But don't worry, the next millennium will go much, much slower indeed. So I hope you decide to join me for the second part coming on Thursday, ladies and gentlemen, ahead of Civilization 6 in 6 or so weeks. And if this has started a hankering for strategy games in your heart as well, I do strongly recommend my Stellaris series. It's a fantastic series, and I thoroughly recommend it for some more strategy game goodness. So, more to come in a couple of days, ladies and gentlemen. But in the meantime, I've been John. This has been many a true nerd, and this has been the start of our grand Hellenic adventure in Civilization 5. Thank you very much, and goodbye. We're going to build a large green park as a memorial to the bloody place that wouldn't stop burning down. Oh gosh darn it, the building next door's just catching fire instead. Can I just kind of demolish a church or something to make room for it? Because I will. Then next to the magnificent city hall, a giant statue of me